Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video I'd like to speak with you about how the California climate change goals, their clean air regulations and policies could actually spell the end of California. But first, roll the intro. Welcome back. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like the video. Be sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single release of our videos, where every Friday we're talking about something that could benefit you in your trucking businesses, in your trucking careers, as well as cover the loads we've successfully booked for our customers, consisting of leased on owner operators and carriers operating under their own MC authorities, running under our truck dispatch services. As always, guys, big thank you for all the likes you've provided in all the previous videos. Please do keep them coming, and let's talk about California climate change goals, or what the CARB's been implementing. And I know that we've been harping on California for some time. We've had lots of videos about the port problems, some of the shortages and things, the AB5 ruling. I'll leave little cards throughout the video so you can refer or reference those out if you'd like. But what I'm about to talk about today is a continuation of a plan of not only coming out to zero emissions, but we're also talking about the end of basically working with that state, because they're going to actually cut out a lot of truckers and make it very difficult, next to impossible, to operate without having to outlay lots and lots of cash. Okay, that's out there. So let's talk about this. Beginning 2023, that we're talking next year, CARB, or the California Air Resources Board, we'll refer to them as CARB. So CARB will actually require that all semi-trucks, they have to have 2010 or newer engine starting next year. So it's kind of like the pre-ELD 1999s that were out there. We're going to have a new rush for certain year model trucks, right? Now, here's the problem. 23% of the cargo that's hauled by a truck, in California, they're actually run by trucks that have engines between 2007 and 2009. So you're taking out 23% right there. By the end of this year, by the end of 2022, the trucks that are actually operating in the port, so Port of Los Angeles, Port of Long Beach, but these two ports would be under regulation that by the end of this year, the truckers will actually have to have trucks that are model year of 2014 and newer. So again, we're going to have a run for that. It's going to be very difficult for truckers because, ultimately, as far as like the port trucks that are registered to do business with those ports, there's about 5,000 trucks that are registered to do business. Now, out of that 5,000, they have about 3,500 to 3,600 trucks that are actually actively, used vehicles that are being used in the ports. And if these rules and regulations, based on just an average of those percentages, if you just take out a quarter of that, that would actually bring it down to about 2,600 to 2,700 trucks. So you're further hurting the trucks, especially with the previous regulations, especially with all the AB5 talk that's been out there. A lot of these folks simply cannot do business with the ports, or in many cases with the entire state of California. Now, beginning 2024, the drayage trucks will have to actually start transitioning to zero emissions. All right, the zero emission technology will have to be implemented starting 2024, which is just around the corner, a little over a year, and that's in order to comply with CARB regulations. So once again, they're telling you this is coming. This will be a requirement. Now, here's the kicker. By 2035, all port trucks must be zero emission trucks by 2035, which again might seem like it's a long way away, but it's really not that far. Now I'm going to leave you with this. As of July of 2022, California has had 1,943 zero emission medium and heavy duty vehicles in their fleet. Doesn't seem like a large number, and it really isn't for a state of that size. 1,369 of them are just city buses. So we're talking about the majority of all zero emission vehicles are zero buses, yet these regulations are going into effect into the trucking industry, into California, regulations for truckers to do business with the state. So we'd love to hear from you guys. Do you do business in California? Would you do business should these rules going into effect? And if you are a California carrier, or you're leased on with a company that's in California, how has this affected you? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm gonna switch over to camera. We're gonna look over the loads that we booked for our customers. If you haven't liked the video, please smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these loads. We got vans and reefers this week. I have a couple that I want to specifically focus on, which I'll mention when we get to them. We're going to go ahead and start off with a reefer coming out of Wilmington, North Carolina, going to Syracuse, New York with a 40,000 pound load of frozen chicken. 729 miles booked at $2,700. Got them $370 a mile. Then right out of Rochester, New York, with a 1-pick 2-drop going to McLeansville, North Carolina, and Dacula, Georgia. This is a light load, 17,000 pounds of hummus, 953 miles booked at $3,100. Got them $325 a mile. Then Atlanta, Georgia to Fort Smith, Arkansas. Real quick run, 42,000 pound load of FAK, 678 miles booked at $1,700. Got them $251 a mile. And it finished off with Van Buren, Arkansas, with a 1-pick 2-dropper going to Robert, Louisiana, and McElhenney, Florida. This another light load, 27,000 pounds of frozen chicken, 1,061 miles booked at $3,600. Got them $329 a mile. Did very well. Solo reefer ended up grossing $11,100 running Saturday to Saturday. Ran 3,421 loaded miles at an average of $324 per loaded mile average. Excellent job for this reefer driver. Another one that I want to show you, also a reefer. Now these are the ones that I want to compare to, and we'll come back to the numbers. Charlotte, North Carolina, going to Cold Township, Pennsylvania. It's a 30,000 pound load of frozen pita bread, 529 miles booked at $1,600. Got them $302 a mile. Then Fogelsville, Pennsylvania to Landover, Maryland. It's a 30,000 pound load of frozen foods, 168 miles, real quick run, booked at $1,300. Got them $774 a mile. Then Savage, Maryland, going to Dayton, New Jersey with a 25,000 pound load of empty pallets. Another 167 miles here, booked at $1,100 this time. Got them $659 a mile. Then Vineland, New Jersey to Washington Courthouse, Ohio, with a 40,000 pound load of food and beverages. 546 miles booked at $1,850. Got them $339 a mile. Then Columbus, Ohio to Manassas, Virginia, with a full load of beverages, 391 miles booked at $1,500 this time at $384 a mile. And then they finished off with Winchester, Virginia, going to Concord, North Carolina, with a 37,000 pound load of turkey, frozen turkey, 347 miles booked at $1,400. Got them $403 per mile. So as you can see, light loads, fantastic rates. Now this driver, also solo reefer, ran Wednesday to Wednesday, grossed $8,750 for their week, ran 2,148 loaded miles at an average of 407 per loaded mile average. Now I ran the numbers for the previous one. The first guy made $11,100 gross, ran longer runs, less runs, and ended up with $324 a mile. And this other driver ended up running actually 1,273 less miles than the other one and got with a 407. So although they did gross less money, I would imagine that with 1,273 miles less, probably netted a good amount more. So kind of an example of how you can run and the types of runs you can make in order to actually be more efficient in your business. Next, we're going to go with a dry van coming out of Salem, Oregon, with a 1-pick 2-dropper going to Mountain Grove, Missouri, and Tomah, Wisconsin, with a 35,000 pound load of furniture, 2,707 miles booked at $6,000. Got them $222 a mile. Then La Crosse, Wisconsin to Sauk Rapids, Minnesota, with a load to scale load of beer, 226 miles booked at $1,000. Got them an easy $442 a mile. And they finished off with Burnsville, Minnesota to Ortonville, Minnesota, with a 45,000 pound load of dry freight, 180 miles booked at $750. Got them $417 a mile. And they ran Thursday to Thursday, grossed $7,750 in their solo dry van, ran 3,113 loaded miles at an average of $249 per loaded mile average. Next, we have ourselves a reefer coming out of Elk Grove Village, Illinois, going to Cherokee, Iowa, with a 25,000 pound load of FAK, 433 miles booked at $1,250, got them $289 a mile. Then Fort Dodge, Iowa to Winchester, Virginia, with miscellaneous load, 43,000 pounds on a weight, 1,029 miles booked at $3,450, got them $335 a mile on a good amount of miles. Then Gardner's, Pennsylvania, to Bedford, Pennsylvania. Quick run, 36,000-pound apple load. Apples in terms of the fruit, not the computers. It's only 93 miles, booked at $1,100. Got them $11.83 per mile. $11, almost $12 a mile for 100 miles. Excellent job. Mooresfield, West Virginia to St. Louis, Missouri was their last run. Light load, 19,000 pounds of frozen food. 711 miles, booked at $1,900. Got them $267 a mile. Went to a good market. Running Wednesday to Wednesday. Closed off strong the week at $7,700 in gross. 2,266 loaded miles at an average of 340 a mile is good in my book. Next, we got ourselves a dry van coming out of Salt Lake City, Utah, going to Olive Branch, Mississippi, with a 40,000-pound load of empty pallets. 1,547 miles, booked at $2,502, which got them $1.62 a mile, to get them out of Salt Lake, a really bad market. However, out of Bartlett, Tennessee, took a load to Rosenberg, Texas, with a very light load, 8,000 pounds of dry goods, 614 miles, booked at $1,500. Got them $244 a mile, and they finished off with Sulphur, Indiana, going to New York. 36,000 pounds of rubber, 1,516 miles, booked at $4,200. Got them $277 a mile. And then that was it. Friday to Friday, grossed $8,202, running 3,677 loaded miles at an average of 223 per loaded mile average. Next one's a reefer coming out of Woodland, Washington to Baltimore, Maryland, with a 33,000-pound load of frozen food. 2,829 miles, booked at $6,600. Got them $233 a mile on an impressive amount of miles, over 2,800 miles there. Then Northeast Maryland to Cole Township, Pennsylvania, a real quick run, 33,000 again on the weight. It's another frozen load. Only 120 miles this time, booked at $1,200. Got them $10 on a dot. An excellent job there on the dispatchers. Then East Greenville, Pennsylvania to Talmadge, Ohio. Hopefully I said that right. It's a 41,000-pound load of groceries, 385 miles, booked at $1,300 this time. Got them $338 a mile. Very, very strong. This is a reefer solo. Running Friday to Friday, grossed $9,100 on their 3,334 loaded miles that they ran an average of $273 a mile. Excellent job there. Very interesting runs. And I'm going to finish off with a reefer out of Mansfield, Wisconsin, going to Greenville, Texas, with a 43,000-pound load of doors. It's 1,052 miles, booked at $2,450. Got them $233 a mile. Then Crockett, Texas, with a one-pick, three-dropper, going to Bismarck, North Dakota, Hazen, North Dakota, and then a final in Minot, North Dakota, with a 32,000-pound load of miscellaneous products. 1,444 miles, booked at $4,500. Got them $312 a mile, and they finished off with Hamburg, North Dakota, going to Dallas, Texas. Longer run again, 44,000-pound FAK load. 1,138 miles, booked at $2,400 this time. Got them $211 a mile, going to Dallas. Not bad at all. Ended up running Wednesday to Wednesday, grossed $9,295 for, actually $9,350. I take that back, more than I thought. Ran 3,634 loaded miles at an average of 257 per loaded mile average. And most importantly, you guys need to know that you too can do this. I mean, obviously not all of our drivers are making top dollar in the market, but when you got guys hitting $3 to $4 a mile because they're working hard and have a little bit of luck on their side, you know that you can do the same thing as long as you're working with strong dispatchers. If you're a carrier, if you're a leased on owner operator, you may want to consider looking at what you're actually paying and how much you're pulling away from your paychecks every week, and compare them apples to apples. If you're not making this kind of money or close to this kind of money, then you need to stop, think about it and get in touch with us by calling or texting at 801-448-6363 or visiting our website at aftdispatch.com/go. Fill out our chat box in any one of our web pages. Just give us your information, phone number, your email address, things like that. We'll get in touch with you, answer any and all questions that you may have. And most importantly, until next week, stay healthy, be wealthy. Take care, guys.